Well, we're here in Georgetown, and beautiful, beautiful place. I'm stuck in paradise, I guess. The winds are supposed to start letting up Thursday, Friday, and we're looking at maybe heading out of here Friday, I hope, if the forecast will stay the same. But in the meantime, I'm just out here on the back, here in paradise. Chris and Noddy went up to the beach. I had a few things to do, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start making a couple of saw shackles. We had a problem here a couple of nights ago. I guess you can see where the pulley attaches at the top has got a really long bolt on it right now. This one over here is much shorter. Well, what happened was the one on the starboard side snapped off, and the dinghy fell in the middle of the night. Scared the heck out of Chris and I. We both were up running around on deck trying to figure out what was going on. We thought another boat had drug anchor and ran into us, and turns out that little stainless bolt at the top had sheared off, and so we're going to I had this bolt, a stainless bolt, which is a little longer than we want, but it will do the trick until I can find the exact piece we need. But what I'm going to do is we got to thinking that if that had happened in really rough seas, we would have some really bad problems trying to get that dinghy back up. It could have been a disaster if we'd have been at sea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I've got some Dyneema line, and I'm going to make a couple of soft shackles out of Dyneema to secure, run through those pulleys and fasten them to the mounting bracket up top, so that if the bolt did snap off again, there would be a secondary safety catch. It's a safety wire, basically, is what I'm making. Okay, I've made a few soft shackles in the past. These were my first ones that I made. They are a buried strand inside of each other, and a lot of them you see like at West Marine or in the stores will be this type, and they've got a different type of knot on the end. And I got to looking at some of the results where they took these and tested them at a test lab, and it seemed that this style did not hold up near as well as these did with that bigger knot, and the point of failure was the knot. It had unraveled in some of the cases once they got to extreme pressures of 3.5 times test load, and these smaller knots seem to also have a tighter bend radius in them, so the material would break at that point as well. These two single strands together held up much better in the test results. So I'm going to try that method again and just make one that's quite a bit longer, so that it will go all the way from the davit, which is the big silver bar hanging out there, to the pulley straight down. I can go above the davit and go down and loop through the hole in the center of the pulley, and that will give me a safety mechanism in case something were to happen to that little eye bolt that's in the top of the pulley. And if that broke, at least I would have the Dyneema able to hold the weight of the dinghy until we could get back here to do something to secure it a little better. So we're gonna start off here, and I'm gonna get the material out and start cutting my length of material. Okay, I did this in fast motion just because it gets a little boring watching this. What I'm doing is I'm putting a loop in each end of the Dyneema strand, and with that bitter end, or the tail end of the line, I'm putting it in the fiddle, piercing the other strand. This is a woven strand with the Dyneema, so I'll go through one direction, then I cut back through and put what's called a lock on it. That's what I'm doing here. And you pull back through the other direction, and then you bury the end in the other core. And this works similar to the Chinese handcuffs that we used to have as kids, where you'd try to stick your finger in both ends and pull it out, and it would wind up just locking in. And so what I'm doing is I'm pulling that strand into the other one for just the end of it, and I did this to both ends of the line. And now I've got loops in both ends, and what I'm going to go back now and mark the center of the line, and then I'm going to insert one of those end loops into my fiddle, and I will take that and I'm going to pass it through about ½ inch below my center line. Pass it through the opposite strand, and doing this, it creates a loop in the center. And I'll pull that up, and now I'm going to take my two ends. Get all this tape out of the way, and I'll take my two ends and I'm going to tie the stopper knot in the end down here. And the trick here is you do not want to cross the lines when you're tying the stopper knot. You want to keep them parallel, so it's just a straight overhand knot. I'm going to come around and then back through the center. And like I say, you don't want those lines to be crossing over the top of each other. You got to keep them parallel, and then pull the two loops through the center of the knot. And then I'll take the loop that's in the center of the line, and I'm going to pass it through those two loops that are in the knot. And then it's a little tight getting those two loops through there, or getting that loop through the center of those eyes. So I'll just put the fiddle on the end of it and pull it through, pass the line through it, and now you've got to pull this line tight. You work the two lines that are in that knot, and try to pull them tight so that you get it around, so that it doesn't come unraveled on you. And later, before I use this thing, I'll take that and stick it in a stanchion and really put some pressure on it to try to tighten that knot up. You want that thing hard, hard as a tabletop. Okay, so now here's your shackle, and you just open up the loop in the far end, pass that knot through it, cinch it back down, and there you go. That's the tensile strength for the dingy that I'm using is about 3,500 pounds, and a double strand of that hopefully would give us a 7,000 pound brake load. And so if we did wind up breaking off another of those eye bolts, we do have at least have a little measure of safety in the Dyneema holding the dink up, so in rough seas we won't have to be climbing off the back of the boat.